Hey, everybody. Happy Sunday. I am Trezene, the host of FCN Prime News, the Sunday edition. Thank you guys for tuning in. You're probably wondering, Trezene, if it's the Sunday edition, why are you sitting at the news desk as if it was FCN Prime News? Well, I'm glad that you asked. For those who don't know, you guys, the FCN community, are amazing, loyal fans and viewers. You have made the Sunday edition our #1 show, our top rated viewed show. And we just want to say thank you so much for being so loyal and engaged on the Sunday edition, making it our #1 show. With that in mind, we wanted to go back a little bit and revisit some of those episodes that you guys could not get enough of, where you were going crazy in your clicks, your comments, your shares, and your likes, and maybe a couple of angry faces at some of the stuff that we talked about on the Sunday edition. First up, we're going to have the Dove ad. So that was one that you guys really went in on when Dove decided to show itself with that crazy ad that they had. And then two, when we talked about Harvey Weinstein, when it all came crumbling down for him. So we're going to show a couple of those clips that you guys couldn't get enough of. And again, we want to thank you guys so much for all of your engagement, your likes, your shares, and just all the love that you show the FCN family. We love y'all. We love our FCN community. So we hope that you enjoy rewatching some of these amazing clips. Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Sunday edition. I am your host for today, Trezene, and I am here with Jantina Anderson. She is a cultural advocate, and I am so glad that she is here today as we get ready to talk about this Dove ad that is going around social media over the last 24 hours. Thank you so much, Jantina.
Oh, thank you for the invitation.
I'm glad
to be here.
Yay, I'm so glad that you are. Why don't you tell our viewers a little bit about yourself, where you're from, tell them a little bit about your work and what you do.
Sure. So as Trezene mentioned, my name is Jantina Anderson. I'm actually from Fort Wayne, Indiana, but currently reside in the Indianapolis area. What I do during the day is I work in a corporation and help with people or talent within the organization. In the evening, I'm a student, a PhD student, so pursuing my doctorate's degree in urban education studies, and my research interest is around Black women and Black females and the exclusion of them, as well as identifying spaces that are freeing or liberating for them. And then at all times, I'm a wife, so I'm married, and a mother of 2 beautiful daughters.
Yes, and they're so gorgeous.
Thank you.
They're lovely babies. So why don't you tell us a little bit more in general about your work? How did you get into really doing research focused around Black women and their aesthetic, and then the spaces they're welcome in and the spaces that aesthetic is not welcome in?
Right. So honestly, I got started in this area because of a Facebook post.
Okay.
So social media, yes. A Facebook post, I believe it was around 2012, 2013. There was a charter school in Ohio that released a dress code policy, which they later termed as a draft. That suggested any students who wore Afro puffs, braids, twists, cornrows, etc., would not be allowed in their school. And so for me, that was around the time that my oldest daughter was starting kindergarten, and that struck a nerve, to say the least.
Yeah, I'm sure. Like, how am I supposed to do their hair if they can't have braids, cornrows, Afro puffs? What am I supposed to do?
Right. Yeah. I looked at it as modern day segregation. I mean, now it was in Ohio, so it didn't necessarily impact me directly or my family, but just to understand that there was a school that was so bold as to say, if you wear your hair in its natural state, we will not educate you. You're not allowed, in our school.
Right.
So that caused me to seek out opportunities to work with school corporations to help them create spaces where all children were welcome and could learn. And then as I began the pursuit of my PhD, which is, I guess, helping me do that in a more formal way, I'm digging deeper into that particular area, that topic.
And what are you finding as you're digging deeper into that subject?
A lot.
I bet. I bet. Give us a few things that have piqued your interest. as you start to go in deeper.
Right. So what I will say is that it's not exclusive to schools. It's not exclusive to academia. This happens whether it be in corporate America, whether it be in advertisements like the Dove campaign. This is everywhere. This is essentially what our culture has communicated and presented around what's good and what's bad. There's a kind of a constant binary regarding, you know, what's good, what's acceptable, what's beautiful, what's pleasing, and what's not. And oftentimes black women or black people are on the negative or bad end of that binary, whereas white is good.
Would it be safe to say, or would you feel confident in saying that black people are very well aware that we're on that side of negative?
I would say that as of today, yes. I don't know that we were always as conscious or aware, but I would say with the help of social media, with the help of just more discussions and conversations around it, that yes, we're very much aware. And anytime we see something of that nature happening, we quickly call it out because we understand the implications of it. We understand how it positions and presents us.
I think that leads us right into the Dove ad specifically. So we have a clip of the image that started circling yesterday evening. I'm sure the viewers can see that clip. You've seen it. At the top of it, it's a black woman with a nude shirt, so brown shirt on. And then, so the first image, you know, she's there, and then she takes it off, and then at the bottom, it's now a white woman with a flesh tone, you know, her flesh, and she's taking that off. So when you saw that, what were your initial thoughts upon seeing just that image?
I thought it was a joke.
Like, this isn't real.
Exactly.
I'm not gonna lie, I did too. I went, somebody is trolling Dove, and I'm like, what did Dove really do? I thought maybe it was like a parody or satire or something.
Yes. Yeah. Or like there has to be a video or something more that is coupled with this to help make this more, you know, inclusive. Because if not, clearly this is a slap in the face. Yeah.
And so, you know, everyone's saying, I think this is fake, I think this is fake. And then all of a sudden we're seeing screenshots of Dove apologizing for it. And I think we have a clip of that too that the viewers can see. The Dove apology, the top one I think is the apology they posted on Twitter, and then they also posted an apology on Facebook, and it basically said, hey, yeah, we posted something the other day. So I went, oh my God, they did do it. Yes. And then they said, we missed the mark on this one. Our bad. And I'm like, wait. So I'm still on, this was not a joke. This was not someone playing around. You guys actually did this, and then your apology wasn't really an apology. It was, we missed the mark. So even upon seeing that, and you realizing that it was real, and it really came from Dove, what were your thoughts then?
So my thoughts, I mean, it's, I guess at times you wonder, when will the circle of this type of positioning and negativity stop, right? Because we've seen this before. This is how ads were presented in the past, where the black person, you know, they were made to look like the buffoon or the cartoon, and the white person was the pristine and pure and, again, beautiful. So this is 2017. Yes. I mean, we're almost in 2018. When will it stop? I mean, that was one thought. Another thought is, or was, who do these corporations hire? I mean, they spend how much money? These are billion-dollar corporations, and the industries are just as large. And they, you know, even in their mission and vision and some of their other ads, they talk about wanting to appeal to a large, diverse audience. But yet you put an ad like this, you know, in social media. And of course there's going to be backlash.
You know, so. There was a Dove ad campaign maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago, where they had a sketch artist in a room. Have you seen that?
Yes.
They had a sketch artist in a room, and so what he would do is a woman would come in and she would sit there and she would tell the sketch artist what she looks like. He would not see her. He couldn't see her walk in. And she would describe what she looked like. And he would draw based on her description. And then another woman would come in who had just sat with the other woman for 30 minutes. And she was tasked with describing to the sketch artist what that other woman looked like. And so he sketched. And then the original woman would come back out to look at the two. And the description given by the stranger was just much more gorgeous and beautiful than the description that she gave of herself. That ad campaign impacted me tremendously.
Like tears.
Tears. Because we all know that we nitpick in the mirror. Oh my God, this side of my face is wrong shape. This side is my better side. And you know, maybe if my nose did this. And so we always describe the negative characteristics of ourselves much more grotesquely than they really are. I loved that ad campaign. And then we have this. And we say, wait a minute. You just did so good. What? So I searched for that, the Dove ad campaign video. Because I'm like, this is a part of a video. It wasn't just a still image. And so I did find a 3-second clip of the actual video. So I think we can run that right now. It's very short. You might want to play it twice or so. And so what we discover in the video is that it's the black girl takes off her shirt to become the white girl, and the white girl takes her shirt off and she's Hispanic. And so it's over, you know, they're trying to do one after another. Similar, but not the same as when Michael Jackson did his black and white, right? So when the black and white video where people morphed into a different person, a guy into a girl. Do you think that changes anything?
No.
No. Tell us why.
I don't, because to be clean or fresh, we need to remove the brown. We need to remove the darker color, and then become a lighter shade. So either this white woman or this Latino, and some have even called her Asian.
They've got to laugh. Like, no laugh. They are dying laughing. You didn't see it? Okay.
Somebody didn't like that comment.
Like, let them get that laugh out. Just let them. Okay, so as you were saying, Jantina, where you were saying it doesn't matter because you're alluding to blackness gone and now you're clean and pure because it's white or just not black,
or not dark, or not the pigment of the skin or the color of the shirt is light. So again, going kind of back to the binary.
I agree with you, because this isn't Dove's first screw up, you guys. In 2011, they had an ad, and we do have a clip of that because FCN, we're about facts. We're not about just telling you anything. We have a clip of that, of the Dove ad, where you see a before and after. So the before screen has like cracked skin, very dry, and then there's an after of smooth skin. But the black woman is standing in front of the before, and then there's a Hispanic woman right between the before and the after, and then a white woman on the nice, fresh after side, which goes back to what you're saying before. Black is bad. If you use our products, white is good, and now you're good. And then they've had another snafu where with one of their products on the bottle, and I believe it's kind of like a bronzer type of cream or something to make your skin a little darker. But on the bottle, and of course we have a picture of this too, it says for normal to dark skin. So again, I mean, what? Like,
dark skin is not normal. In some way, this wasn't God's creation. I don't know, just not normal.
You know, and I've used those bronzer creams before. No judgment, people. You can make my legs a little darker before, you know, it's summertime, and you know how sometimes up here is a little darker because the sun hasn't hit, you know, but it didn't say normal to dark skin. It just said if you want this shade to be the end result, then, you know, use that. In makeup, we fair, medium, dark, mahogany. It's never normal. And then, you know, dark skin. So, you know, Dove has kind of this history of doing these very insensitive things. And I think insensitive is still being too nice and saying that they're doing this thing. You mentioned having history of treating dark skin as being bad, particularly in the beauty industry. There's a history with soap companies in general for having racist advertisements when it comes to soap products. And so we do have a clip. People on social media have compiled these together of way back in the day. You're talking like a long, maybe 1900s, 1800s, I don't know. It looks like slave babies, and there's soap that they're advertising. And so when you wash the slave baby in the soap, their whole body is completely white and their face isn't. Or you see a black woman washing with the soap and her hands are white, and you're just saying, hey, basically our soap is so good that you can get rid of the dark.
And so when you think about even how children might perceive this, right? So, I mean, we've all read posts or even heard it ourselves if you're of a darker complexion. But when you're in the grocery store and the little child that's never seen a black person before or someone with dark skin, and they're asking their mother, oh, mommy, why are they so dirty? Or they're dirty. And the mother, you don't talk about that. Right? So, I mean, it's real. It happens even without knowing. And then when you have an advertisement that reinforces that, that's a problem.
Yeah, that's very, very problematic. So what are we to take from this? What are we as black women? What are we as black women and men? What are we to take from this?
Well, so I'll segment this a bit. I think corporations need to understand that when they're partnering with ad agencies and creating these types of ads, they need to find ad agencies that have individuals that are sensitive to the consumers that are buying their products. So while, yes, Dove did so well with the beauty campaign, or the majority of their advertisements did well, obviously there was someone there that was, critiquing the videos or the ads before they were released, and they understood how the audience may respond. They need to do the same thing when they're talking about women of color or people of color as well, when they're positioning them within their ads. So they need to be more inclusive with their hiring processes or vetting processes with their vendors.
That is your day job. You're like, who hired these people? A lot of people on social media were saying, how did this get off the whiteboard and get posted on social media? And a lot of people were like, whiteboard, right? And I'm like, oh my goodness, that's true. That it still was able to go through these multiple processes of approval. Anyone who's worked in corporate America knows not one single person is making a decision. There are many hoops to jump through to get the green light. And so when you see something like this, you're like, it went through how many people with the thumbs up? So sometimes I wonder, where our first thoughts were, is this real? Do you think there could be an element at all that this was posted on purpose just to be almost inflammatory for the likes, the clicks, the retweets, and the shares?
I sure hope not. But it's worked for others, right? I mean, people have used controversy to their advantage. Now, I can't call them out specifically, but we know it's happened. I just hope that someone that has such at least a personality that's been presented as really wanting to build confidence and positivity for women around beauty and self-confidence, and even building foundations to work with young girls around confidence and beauty, that they wouldn't, take that route to increase sales or discussion. I pray that that's not the case. Because that's a whole nother topic.
Topic. You mentioned, a part of your research and interest is, what spaces, that our aesthetic, our beauty is welcome. A lot of people are talking about boycotting Dove. I'll never buy your products again. Some people were like, I've been telling y'all to use a Vino, I've been telling you to use this. And then there were a few posts where people were like, why don't you just buy black? There are soap makers. There are other companies that make products that are actually better for our skin in general. So just go over there where they're really not trying to cater to everyone. They're just catering for us. Do you see that as a viable solution, particularly when you're dealing with, people you know, putting out advertisements that use us and what we look like.
Right. I definitely see it as an option. I think it matters what we ultimately want. What's the goal, right? Are we trying to hurt Dove economically, where they lose, you know, a part of the market and they really feel this in their pocket, so they do make a change? Is that our goal? Is our goal that they make changes such as like the Academy Award, when we were all saying the Oscars are so white, that we want to see more inclusivity as far as who's nominated and who actually wins? So I think it really depends upon, you know, what our ultimate goal is. But I definitely support Black owners and entrepreneurs who are doing things for us. So
this has been such a great conversation. I'm so glad that you were able to join us
Likewise.
today. So glad. You guys, this is Miss Jantina Anderson. You tell them where they can find you, if there's an email address they can reach you, if they have questions or maybe just want to engage with you a little bit more about this topic. Let them know.
So I am on Twitter. I'll be honest, I'm not super active on Twitter, but my handle is @JantinaAnderson. You can also email me if you have any questions or would like to discuss this further. And my email address is jantina.anderson@gmail.com. And my name is a little different, so let me spell it. Jantina.
Awesome. So I have one last clip because I again, going on social media, looking at what people are saying, and there's this young lady. I cannot pronounce your username, ma'am. So please, if you're watching this or someone sends it to you, please don't think that I'm being, just being dismissive. I could not pronounce it, but I do have your Twitter handle, and it's @PestyLexi, which I thought was very funny. And she said it best, I think. She said, "This is deliberately inciting. It is nonsense. And they're doing this for the clicks and the likes. It's nonsense." And if I take anything from this, I do feel much more on that side with her, that this is deliberately inciting. And I think I agree with her because of what the apology said. Because it said we missed the mark. You know, but at the same time, I'm still very moved with your answer to that question of, I hope not, and then the reasons why. So it's really up in the air for me at this moment.
We'll find out.
On was this deliberate, or, you know, what happened? We don't know. But what we do know is that, you know, there are places that we can go to feel safe in what we look like, and we can definitely always buy outside of the big corporations for what we need. So thank you so much, Jantina, for joining me today. And with that, that's going to be a wrap up of today's Sunday edition. Make sure you follow us on YouTube. Make sure you follow us on Instagram and Twitter at FCN Prime _Prime on Twitter and Instagram. And then on Facebook / the Fifth Column Network. If you stay tuned today, you might get a little surprise later. So just make sure you like the page and share it. All right. Thank you guys so much. And we will see you next time. Sunday edition. I am your host for today. I am Trezene, and I am here with two people. One you may have seen before, but we definitely have a fresh face in the house.
Thank you. Apricot scrub, so it is.
It's a fresh face.
It's a fresh face today. Thank you for noticing.
Yeah, your brown skin is glimmering.
It's
luminous.
It's luminous.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, the luminous one today is the Revolution. And we're joined for the first time in her debut appearance here at FCN, Miss Heather H. Dub. She is here. Say hello to everybody.
Hi, everybody. Glad to be here. That's it.
That's
right
all you
now.
have to say?
Yeah, that's it. Oh, I gotta warm up.
You gotta warm up.
Yeah.
Warm it up, Chris.
I'm about to.
Warm it up, Chris.
That's what I was born to do.
All right.
I'm nervous for today's show here. These two?
Me too.
All right, so we have a great topic for today. If you haven't been watching the news at all, you'll know that this past week has been full of news about sexual harassment, sexual predators, sexual assault. Lots of stuff in the press, particularly motivated by Harvey Weinstein, the Hollywood studio executive, who was exposed by both the New York Times and the New Yorker in two expose pieces that really went in on him and his conduct over the last few decades. So,
yeah, it feels about 30 good years.
About 30 good years.
30 good ones.
A long good history. That's a long run.
Yeah. Since we've been alive, he's been creeping and perving
and twiddling.
And diddling.
Repeatedly.
Like, without any care, concern. Go ahead.
No, I think we should roll right into that because I definitely want to start here with Weinstein because, like I said, that's what popped off at the top of the week is Weinstein. Yet again. And so I believe both investigations from both papers, which I'm sure was a combined effort of somewhere, were 10-month or 13-month long investigations before they published. That is a significant investment in time from all the journalists and even to get the green light from, their actual papers, right? To spend that kind of time and resources and money on that long. So I want to start there with Weinstein. What were you guys' thoughts I know you spoke about it on FCN Prime News on Monday.
Yes.
So you want to kind of just give a little rehash of what you talked about with Weinstein on that day, and then definitely want to hear from you what you thought when you learned about, what they published in the paper.
Well, I don't know if I want to rehash it. They can obviously go back on there and look, but I think that the big thing that it's just the size and scope of his activities and his violation of these women's rights and their mental health, their just everything, destroying these women's lives has been, I can't even say startling. Startling is somebody walking into your bedroom when you walk out the shower. This is horrific. This is, you couldn't script something like this. You couldn't pin this in the best novel by one of the great American storytellers. This is horror storytelling at its finest. And I think the big thing for me is that how many people now have come out. And we're talking A-listers. We're not talking.
Yes.
We're not talking people that may be trying to stay relevant and to kind of jump on the bandwagon. Which, let me say this. Please don't come for me, but I just want to put this out here that I felt some of those people for Bill Cosby were D-listers. Some people were coming out and like you hadn't heard from them. You didn't know if they were alive or dead until this. And I'm not victim blaming them. Not saying that their voice wasn't valid, but I'm saying these women. We're talking Angelina Jolie's. We're talking Gwyneth Paltrow's. We're talking Rose McGowan. I wouldn't say she's an A-lister, but she's a name.
Right.
Patricia Arquette. Patricia Arquette. Yes. And she's Hollywood royalty. For God's sake. Let's talk about that. That he had the audacity to violate someone of Hollywood royalty, but let's talk about that though really quickly because that might play into what I've been thinking lately. Is the game, Patricia. Your father, your brothers, you don't know how this works.
Right.
You grew up in this. So seemingly believing that she was into the lifestyle and on the take of Hollywood behavior. And he was mistaken. And it's just really sad how many women that I'm reading coming out and telling their stories. It's heartbreaking. At the absolute least, it's heartbreaking for me.
Okay, what did you think, Heather?
I was disgusted but not shocked at the same time. I don't know. I just feel like this is something that I think everyone knows happens. Maybe not on this scope or scale, but we've all heard the stories about back in the olden days. Men and women both had to put out or get out of Hollywood. There have been rumors for years about James Dean having to perform sex acts on gentlemen in order to get film roles.
Wow.
I mean, this is not new. This is something that happens all the time. This doesn't just happen in Hollywood. This is everywhere.
Then why the outrage when this is published in the paper? Because I can tend to agree with you that, you know, this isn't new, and this article gets published and then people are, oh my God, and we have to do something, you've got to go. If it's been around for so long, why all of a sudden the public outrage and now there's a call to action to act?
I said it up top. They're A-listers.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I think we have always held celebrities to a high standard. It's anybody who is famous or in the public eye, we put them on some kind of pedestal, and they can't act like that. They're not supposed to do that. And then we're really shocked when they make a mistake and do something human. I'm not saying any of this is just a mistake. This is disgusting.
Yeah,
but
that's inhuman.
This is exactly.
This is Morlocks. This is troglodytes. This is what's those chuds? He's a chud. Harvey Weinstein is a chud.
I don't know that.
I don't know what
You guys
that
don't know
word
what
is.
chud is?
Like, can we have a producer look up chud and?
Well, but it's an actual thing though. Look it up. Somebody's gonna.
Yeah, somebody look it up and let us know.
CHU. I don't know if it's two D's or not, but it's CHUD for certain.
Okay.
He's a chud.
Okay. I want to go with his A-lister distinction that he has made because, as we know, Weinstein has been ousted by BAFTA, expelled by BAFTA, which is the British Academy.
Yes.
And then
Television film.
and then after that, recently was then expelled by the Academy. So, and it was an unprecedented move by them that had not been done in 90-something years of actually saying, hey, we need to actually expel you from our group for your conduct. We know that there are members of the Academy who have gotten caught up in some type of sexual scandal involving, harassment, sexual assault, rape, child abuse, child sexual abuse. A few I can name: Roman Polanski. He had a sex crime with a 13-year-old girl.
And he keeps getting accused. Like, people are coming out about him more recently too. I think there were just 2 in the last month.
Oh my goodness!
They were like 15 and 16, something like that.
We've got Bill Cosby,
Yep.
which you've named and made the distinction on who. Stephen Collins, who the Seventh Heaven, the father in Seventh Heaven.
Oh yeah,
That perv.
was. Oh yeah, but wasn't he related to her? That was his sister, right?
I don't know, but I know a few more teenage girls. There was several teenage girls.
But
That's creepy.
If I'm not mistaken, I believe the initiation of it was someone of relation to him. Like close relation. I don't know. Maybe someone out there
can Google it real fast and
or
let us know.
Say something in the comments. We'll hear about it hopefully. And then who else did you have?
Those were all members. And is Woody Allen a member?
Okay. Can I say something about Woody Allen? No. I want to say something about the Woody Allen thing, right?
Yeah.
So here's the comment that I want to make to run parallel to these, right?
Okay.
Notice Woody Allen is able to work. Woody Allen is able to walk around the Upper West Side. Woody Allen is able to go to Knicks games.
Yes.
Because what he perpetrated didn't step on Hollywood's toes. Okay. He took Mia Farrow, who was in Roman Polanski's Rosemary's Baby, and they had a child they adopted.
Yes.
He groomed her. Like, let's talk about the actual languages you use when you are one of these people who are looking to get children and looking to get young people and to turn them into a victim.
Right.
He groomed her for years. Like, you're living with her under the guise of a parental role and a parental figure.
Yes.
And why hasn't he been brought up on anything tougher than a wag of the finger? And yet Harvey, here he is, and he's getting dragged. He's done. But it's because she was a third world orphan child. Nobody cares about her. Nobody's going to speak up for her. And these women are powerful women. These women are millionaires. These women are public figures. and they can speak up. And because they're speaking out and speaking up, that someone's going to do something about this now. Because, let's be honest, there's still money to be made on those women.
There's still money to be made.
There's still, Harvey still has a brother who's going to run the business, right? Because they were they left Miramax. Disney took Miramax, and they started their own company, and so it's their second company because Miramax is actually named after their parents, their father and their mother, Miriam and Max, and so then they had to lose that, and they went on over and started the Weinstein Company. So it's not like that they haven't done this before, and he's still going to obtain royalties. He's still going to get points on all the films that he's produced. Nothing is happening to his wealth. Nothing is going to happen to his fortune. Nothing is going to happen to his, nothing. But it's a call to action. And I wanted to say something else, but I'll say that later. But it's because these women are names.
And I'm glad that you mentioned that because I read the New York Times published another article about him being ousted from the Academy and said that an unidentified source or anonymous source said there was absolutely no heated discussion when they decided to expel him. They said it was an overwhelmingly number of people who voted for yes, expel him, well beyond the 2/3 needed to actually oust him, and there was no heated discussion.
So that makes me wonder. They all knew.
Yeah.
They all knew.
Yeah.
So
it was just about time. It's a matter of time.
It's in the headlines. We're done.
We're done.
He's out.
All right. Well, you got to go, Harvey. And here's the thing, right? Look at some of his supporters, or I don't even know if you want to call them supporters, but people was like, Woody said, "I hope this doesn't turn into a witch hunt." I bet you don't want this to turn into a witch hunt. Actually, I don't want anyone with tiki torches coming down and knocking on my Fifth Avenue apartment door and asking for her papers. And gosh, God forbid I'm eating bagels and lox, and all of a sudden, was that racist? Can I do that? Is that something I can continue doing?
As you were.
As I were. And possibly choke on my matzo ball soup.
Oh my God. Yes.
That may have been the line.
But I'm Jewish. I am.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Let's talk about witch hunt.
Okay.
There has been some talk. Woody Allen is one. The members of the Academy have talked about this becoming a witch hunt. The slippery slope of we do this to Harvey Weinstein. Will we have to do the same to everyone else? Right? In the news just this week, we had Jason Momoa, who played Khal Drogo on Game of Thrones, whose 2011 video actually resurfaced where he's making a horrible rape joke. Like it's wholly unnecessary. Where someone asked him, "What's your favorite part about playing your role on Game of Thrones?" He said, "I get to rape beautiful women." Like, wait, what? Like,
why is that even a joke?
why is that even like?
Like you could have phrased it like, listen. There was one initial scene where you took her, where it wasn't Khaleesi,
right?
Where she wasn't willing, right? After that, she fell for you and she wanted to learn how to please you, and so you could have very easily have just said, "Oh, I get to make love to some of the most beautiful women," and then you could let the internet be like, "Well, make love. Oh, that's what they call it." You let them do it, but you offer it up on a platter.
Twitter would have just golf clapped back to him about that.
Yes.
Instead of totally dragging him.
Yeah, but that was a light drag.
It was a very light drag.
That's because he's handsome.
Oh, absolutely.
That's right. And it's kind of contradictory when it's on a show like Game of Thrones, which has a whole bunch of rapiness.
It ain't nothing but rape. You have, violence upon violence on many sides. They're
boys will be boys.
It's just dungeon talk.
It's just how things are.
It's just how things were back then.
Yeah.
Let's make Westeros great again.
Okay.
So we did have that, right? in the news. Let's see what else we had in the news. Oh, Mark Selly. He played Puck in Glee.
Yeah.
A while ago, he was indicted on charges for possessing child porn. This weekend or this week, it came out that he took a plea deal. He pled guilty on 2 counts of child pornography. They said he had 50,000 images on his computer and a thumb drive. And so he's going to federal prison for 4 to 7 years. I believe that was the minimum. The maximum was 20. But whatever deal he took, it got him 4 to 7 in prison.
Federal
so
he's
prison.
He's going to have to do day for day in federal. He's going to have to do all this time. He's going to have to do it. So if it's 7 years, he's got to do 7 years, man.
What also kind of stunk about that is that a few of his ex-girlfriends were interviewed and said that they were not surprised. Yeah, I know, right? We're not surprised. Of course they were shocked a little, like, what is it? But then we're like, not surprised. I was kind of taken aback by that. And what is it about the person that you dated where you hear this and go, oh, I'm not surprised.
That's gross.
That's gross.
Yeah, but let's see. Let us really stop with the naivety here, okay? Mm-hmm. This goes into the Harvey Weinstein thing, and this is by no means, and please, women, I am not here. This is not victim blaming, but what I am going to do is to show a pyramid of predatorial behavior, and a pyramid of victims, and how one is lured into this world. Okay? So here you have a guy that was a television star on a white hot television series.
White hot.
Glee. And Puck was very popular.
Yes,
he was the bad boy. He was, olive skin, guinea voice. That was racist. And here he is. You think that he couldn't walk off that set and get anybody that he wants?
Oh, he did.
Right?
Yeah, he did.
So here's the thing. You go up to Jane Blow over here, who's a no-name. She's fresh off the bus from Idaho. She wants to come to Hollywood. She wants to be seen with stars. She wants to maybe even be somebody herself. And she's dating this guy, right? Who's getting you into parties. Who's maybe even getting you auditions. Who, you know what I mean? Who's putting you on the scene.
Yep.
You are going to shut up. Because if you speak up and speak out about something that you know is wrong, period blank, you're going to lose out on those parties, on those A-list parties. You're going to lose out on those auditions and all those opportunities.
That's right.
And it's the same, it's just on a different level of the pyramid, the bottom of the pyramid here, what happens to an actual actress who is now dealing with execs. And they're like, well, they don't even have to say it. Well, you're getting ready to leave? Okay, well, hey, have a good time. I'll see you when I see you. There's a thinly veiled threat there. And, I don't want to hijack this, but I've talked to you about this.
Right, that's right.
I'm a little moved right now, and I don't want to get emotional, but people have always asked me, why didn't you stay in L.A. longer? Why did you leave L.A.? And I really want to tell people this right now. I read Terry Cruz's tweet, right? And he said he was with his wife.
Yes.
And he was groped in public at a party.
By a high-level exec.
By a high-level exec. He didn't want to say his name. And there were 3 real times where I was suggested to do this. They didn't outwardly say something sexual, but it was like, hey, you should come out and hang out with us. And those us's I knew ran in a certain circle. And, after audition, and it's never in a public place. It's always in someone's home. It legitimately is like these women are saying in these hotels. It's like, hey, come hang out with us. We're in this hotel after this. You should come hang out with us. And I was approached 3 different times for 3 different roles, 2 of which were very upfront. And it was something that I had to make a real decision about in my life because I have a moral compass. And I chose not to play myself for a moment in time. You know, I didn't feel like I could go back home and look at my family and know that I sold myself out just to make it, just to say that, you know, oh, look, I was in this film, and it was a film. It was a film that could have broke me, could have really put me out there, you know, because I think that the part that it was for would have been really, really nice little part for me, and I could have really showcased myself, but I just wasn't willing to play that game with them. And when you're not, it's over with. It's over with, and it's real. It's, you know, I wish I could say more, but I'm not, because I'm going to be very honest with you. And I want to say this: I am still afraid to really say something, because anything that I do here or somewhere else in Atlanta, you know, if I'm doing improv, if I'm doing anything, like, these people are still involved. And, you know, when you're not getting called, I haven't done anything on national television in, you know, about 3 years now, you know, because you tell people no, you know, and I'm not telling you everyone that's made it has said yes, but there is an overwhelming number of people that do this, and I don't want to keep going. But
one of the things that Terry Crews, after he told his tale of what he experienced, said, you know, I know why women don't say anything, because I know why they let it go. Because first of all, who's going to believe you, right? And he's like, two, do you want to work again? Like, do you know that if you say no or you cause any ruckus or say something, you're going to be shown the door.
Oh yeah.
And you're going to be labeled a troublemaker.
Oh, immediately.
Yeah.
You're saying shown the door. You won't be let back through the door. You're already walked out. The door is, it's like Hogwarts. It's like going to platform 9.5. So you try to run through the brick wall because you know that, oh, it's a secret entrance way into this brick wall. And guess what? Dobby has closed. It's always this little funny looking little house elf. That's I'm serious, man. That's the gatekeeper that has the power to close this magical portal for you to get to this you know, land, you know. So I don't know.
We're going to go to commercial, but when we come back, we're going to talk about, has Weinstein's fall down, his loss of his positions and being ousted, will it make it easier for others to come forward in the future?